It is. The thumbnail isn't clickbait. I really truly believe that The Forest is the best survival horror game. Though, to be more specific, I do mean survival as in games like Ark and Minecraft, I guess, rather than Resident Evil and Alan Wake. I am Andrew from Hidden Machine, and I absolutely love The Forest, if you couldn't tell from my hot take a second ago. From its powerful and creative crafting to its pants-shittingly terrifying moments, there is a ton to love in The Forest. It's going to be really hard to talk about this game because I think the entire experience is founded on exploration and discovery. So me sitting here telling you what the game has in store could kind of take away from that. With that understood, I'm going to do my best to give you just a little sample, a little taste, a little appetizer of the absolute buffet that this game has to offer without giving too much away. I'll get more into this later on, but I do think having just an ounce of guidance can really help get the ball rolling in this game, so I'll try to do that the best I can. I do believe I'm going to explore the deeper lore and story elements in the future, so keep your eyelids peeled right off. The Forest opens up with you and your son, Timmy, traveling in an airplane. Jesus, I already had to think about how I was wording that to avoid potentially spoiling anything. You reach over for a survival book that's addressed to Timmy when suddenly there's a loud noise and the plane begins crashing down to Earth.
Flight attendants and cabin crew, please.
Black out. Eventually, you come to, now on the floor of the cabin. You see your sweet boy Timmy up ahead of you. The plane has broken in half, and the light of the moon illuminates a strange man covered in red, towering over Timmy. You begin crawling frantically to save your son, but the man reaches down and steals Timmy, staring at him before taking him away and into the darkness. You black out again. You wake up starving, injured, and covered in blood. The corpse of a stewardess impaled with an axe greets you at the break of the ship. This weapon and the remaining items scattered around the crash site will become your tools of survival. That's it. That's all you were given. It's up to you now. Timmy is gone, everyone else is gone, but you're here and you need to save your son. It sounds dramatic, but it is. As simple as the start was, it did an excellent job of setting the stage for your entire time spent in the forest. Where is Timmy? Who was that man? Was he a monster? Why was he covered in red? Was it paint or blood? Where are you? All of those answers can be found through very clever and subtle story clues that you find along the way. Newspaper clippings, videotapes, audio tapes, ancient books, and even hand-drawn pictures created by Timmy that unravel the sinister happenings in the forest. While you're making your way through the trees, foraging for berries, or looking for more useful lost luggage, you notice it starts to get dark. You begin setting up a rudimentary camp to sleep, but you start hearing strange noises in the distance. First, a snapping twig or the bushes shaking, but also some bizarre vocalizations. No worries, it's probably just some wild boar or an angry raccoon. You crawl into your shelter to try to get some sleep, but it's rough. The next day, you make contact with the locals. These primal, aggressive freaks are part of the various cannibalistic tribes native to the forest. And if they spot you, you'll have to fight for your life to survive. As I mentioned before, since this world is wide open and there is no hand-holding, it can be pretty easy to wander aimlessly and find nothing, especially when you first start. While I do like this aspect, I think it can also lead to people feeling concerned that they're wasting their time in another one of those janky, cheap, early access survival games that's barely a game that we see so often nowadays. I have 2 spoiler-free pieces of advice for new players. The first one being to explore the caves. They're marked by these big pile of stones with a neon green rope leading down. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's nearly impossible to see. And yes, you'll probably die. But a lot of the game's progression takes place there. I avoided them at first because I was too afraid, so I understand. And there are some other things lurking in the shadows that aren't quite as human as the cannibals. The other thing I'd mention to new players is another thing that I like, but that I worry could turn some people away, especially when they first start. There is a really cool and scary sequence that happens the first time you die. It's kind of like Mega Man X. You're kind of supposed to die at least once in single player. But if you're overly cautious or you're just a badass, you might not die. After the sequence is over, you'll find yourself in a place with items that are pretty essential for navigation. Fortunately, you can also get to this point by exploring, but every new game has the airplane land in a different random spot. So without prior knowledge, it could take a while to end up finding these items. I did eventually resort to using the wiki to make sure that I wasn't wasting my time in an empty game. And the wiki is awesome. It's really, really awesome, but it's impossible to dodge spoilers there. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you absolutely need it. I think if you follow my advice, you probably won't need it. Just stick with it. Again, I think this aspect is really cool. It's just leaving you to your own devices and helping you out the first time you die. But I can see how some people could get frustrated. Also, I believe the random placement of the plane crash is the only RNG aspect of this world. By the way, I'm fucking kicking ass in this footage right now. Definitely don't try this right when you start the game. I'm like 100 hours in. The environment is all handcrafted with no randomly generated jank, which is extremely refreshing. Almost all the combat is melee, which I love. The crafting system is pretty robust and cool. Your character's stats can be improved with interesting mechanics, upgrades, weapons, secrets. Aw man, this shit rules. It even has multiplayer that works really well. Oh, Jesus Christ.
What do I do? What do I do?
By the way, that scripted sequence the first time you die does not happen in multiplayer, so you're gonna have to find that stuff by yourself. If you like horror games or survival games, I really think The Forest is a top choice. We've been getting trailers on the highly anticipated sequel coming in October called Sons of the Forest, and I can't wait to try it out. Man, there's still so much to talk about. Stay tuned for that larger discussion on the lore to get all caught up in everything you need to know. I haven't told Matt and Jordan yet, but we're making the channel exclusively about The Forest now. Me and Farkit, we're gonna be hanging out. Oh wait, is he doing videos on Planet Crafter now? Aw, come on, Farkit. Nah, he's cool. He's got like 1 million videos on The Forest. Maybe I'll try Planet Crafter. It looks kind of cool. Anyway, why don't you smash that like, subscribe, and bell buttons so you never miss any of our cool gamer content. Subscribe to Hidden Machine Gaming, subscribe to Farkit, he deserves it, and play The Forest. Please! Please! If you start playing it now, when the sequel comes out later this year, you'll get to be like, oh, I actually played the original a while ago. It was really cool. I've been really excited for the sequel, and you won't look like a poser. And that is what gaming is all about.